Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with the second episode of F1 YouTuber Career Mode, and today we're here in Malaysia for the second round of the season, driven by TRL Limitless. Now I'll leave a link to his channel down below, so remember to go and check out his videos and subscribe to him. And I've just got to say a massive thank you to you guys for the support on the first episode. If you have missed it, I'll try and leave a link down below as well, but it went down really well, so a massive thank you to you guys. You like the series, which is really good to see, and hopefully this second episode will as well make a good impression on you guys. So here we are going out to the grid, TRL Limitless on board. I think this is recording on the Xbox 360, and Limitless also told me they wanted to have an extra challenge for this race. So what he decided to do is start from the back of the grid like Tim McMark did in the last episode, but what he also did was give himself about a 5 or 6 second time deficit at the start of this race. So he just standed on the grid and waited for even more time to give himself even more of a challenge throughout this race. So you can see all the AI pulling away here, and any second now we're going to pull away and we're going to have a big time deficit to make up once again. So rich fuel mixture straight away to try and get onto those back of the AI as quickly as possible. But already you'll see through the first sector we are way down on what we'd have expected TRL Limitless to be, but obviously that big time deficit will slow us up in this first sector. So through turn 1, on it straight away, you can hear the tyres squealing through turn 1, but you can already see the AI are quite slow through the first couple of turns. So we've already nearly caught Ericsson, but still we'd expect to probably be up about 15th 14th place at this point. And who's this Massa? What is Massa doing there? He looks like he spun in the middle of the track and spun round, and he's just getting back on course now, but already into the absolute sort of chaos of the back end of the grid here. Maldonado and Chilton, I think that's going side by side there, and already up into 18th place, even with that massive time deficit we had to start this race. And look at that, Kobayashi up in 16th place. He's not doing too badly. Try and look down the inside there, but that didn't really work out. So now we have Kobayashi in front of us. Obviously we'll get past him at some point, but obviously the earlier the better. So looking down the inside here and getting that move done as quickly as possible. And Bianchi's actually up in 15th place as well, so he's had a pretty decent start and managed to make up quite a few positions for him. And I can't believe when watching TRL Limitless, Tim McMark and the other guys that have recorded for this series, how much they change into fast fuel mixture, slow fuel mixture and all that sort of stuff. I normally just leave it in one fuel mixture for like the whole race, or change it up in the pit stop or whatever, and I can't believe they change it like every corner. And I was surprised. It's definitely something I need to learn about doing to save fuel in certain areas of the track when you don't need that fast fuel mixture. That's something I definitely need to learn from watching these videos, and hopefully it's something you guys might have not picked up as well. It's going to be a big part of this series about how to save fuel and that sort of stuff, and using the fast fuel mixture when you actually need it. Now, Gutierrez, probably the first real challenge I've come across here, but it shouldn't be too much of a challenge at the end of the day because he's in a Sauber, we're in a Williams. We'd hope to overtake him, and even without DRS we managed to get past him into turn 1. Look at this, 2 French drivers battling over P12 here. Grosjean on Vern. We go around the outside of Vern there with a very risky move, but we managed to get the move done. And now Grosjean is the car in front of us into the slipstream. Should get past him quite quickly. Not too sure how he's so far up the order in the first place, but yeah, Grosjean is in 13th place. And now we'll move on to slightly later on in the lap where we started to catch Perez, and the gap's down to less than half a second now. Grosjean is nearly 2 seconds behind, so we've definitely pulled that gap up. And now Perez, as I say, is a pretty decent driver in a pretty decent car, so it might be a little bit hard to overtake him here. Look around the outside, then the inside, but there's not really a move to be overtaken there. So we're going to use rich fuel mixture and help of the slipstream here to hopefully get past Perez down into the hairpin at the end of the lap here. Lean fuel mixture towards the end of the straight, as we're not going to be needing that much revs at the end of the straight. But we go around the outside of Perez here and run side by side, nearly hitting the side pod. That might have been a side pod glitch in F1 2013, but luckily we managed to go all the way down the straight without making any contact and managed to get the move done and go up to P11 there, which is again a good move, and only 1 place outside the points now after just over 2 laps, which is pretty impressive considering, I said, the time deficit and starting in last place. And now we're looking to overtake Raikkonen and get ourselves into the points, and there we are, P10, and Kvyat. Strangely, I wouldn't expect him to be in the points, but yeah, he's in 9th place there, so he's having a pretty decent race inside the top 10, which I'd say is very good for him, and now he'll be the next person on our list to overtake to hopefully get towards the front of this field as quickly as possible. But Kvyat, it's strange to see him, I said, up to the field so much because he isn't really in a very good car. And I think Limitless pretty much shows that there as he sort of dives it down the inside there and manages to keep the move. And Raikkonen managed to take advantage as well and get into 10th place himself. So Raikkonen went from being outside the points back inside the points once again, so that's good for him. And now looking down the inside of Magnussen, who's sort of dithering on the apex there. He wasn't too sure whether he was going to turn in or not, so we didn't actually manage to get the move done there, as I think Limitless just didn't want to crash. But look at this, Magnussen being as aggressive as he was in real life and nearly pushing us onto the grass, but he managed to get that move done and up into 8th place here. Next person on our list is Rosberg, who once again is down the order. I'm not too sure whether you guys had the same sort of thing on F1 2014 where Rosberg just so far down the order in a lot of the races. Not too sure why, but Rosberg never seems to do very well in my AI races that I do nowadays, which is a bit strange considering there's been no updates or anything, but it's weird to see that he's so far down the order. In my co-op career as well, he's so far down the order. But anyway, we had that move done and we're up into 7th place now. Jenson Button is the car in front of us, and that'll be 6th place there. And we're getting ever closer to the front of this grid, and who knows, we might even be able to get onto the podium at this rate. We're having such a good start to this race. Limitless having some amazing pace here in Malaysia, and it looks like he's going to be able to get past Button possibly at the end of the straight. He will have the DRS. Yeah, the DRS is activated there, and as we build speed in the slipstream of Button there, we're going to get the move down into turn 1 into lean fuel mixture as we make that move. I managed to make it with the fastest lap as well, 1:38.27 through a very good lap time here in Malaysia. Now the next person on the list is Nico Hulkenberg, who had a podium in Australia, so he's looking to build on that, but he's currently in 5th place, which wouldn't obviously be as good as his result in Australia, but it would really help him in the championship if he finished in the top 5 once again. But obviously that's not what we want. We want to get past them as quickly as possible, as we can get into the fastest cars at the top of the grid, which are the 2 Red Bulls and the Mercedes of Hamilton currently, and we managed to get past Hulkenberg there. So now that leaves Hamilton, I think the Ferrari of Alonso and the 2 Red Bulls in front of us here, so top 5 would be good. And as we skip ahead to lap number 7, you can see most of those cars have pitted except from Ricciardo in front of us, who hasn't stopped. So we're going to come into the pits here at half race distance and switch over to the prime tyres, which I think are the hard compound tyres here in Malaysia. Obviously it's a track where the tyres degrade quite quickly, so you need to run those hard compound tyres, so nothing like 2013 Silverstone happens once again. So a very slow pit lane once again. You can see Ricciardo has already finished his pit stop before we managed to even get into our box, and we're just pulling into the Williams stop any second now and change over to the orange sidewall tyres, which are the hard compound tyres. And going out the track, you can see currently in 2nd place. The times will be updating here. Massa inside the top 3 by the looks of it there, and we're going to come out, is that 5th place there? It looks like we've actually jumped Alonso, so that's a really good stop there, managing to jump the Ferrari and managing to make up a position there. But we're still currently in 5th, and I think that's because Massa, he pitted on the first lap of the race and then decides to pit again later on, which we'll see. But looking down the inside of Hamilton, there's Massa going into the pit lane once again. Now Hamilton running side by side with us here, it looks like he's trying to push us ever so slightly here. We're looking over and seeing where Hamilton is, but we slightly go on the grass there, but we have the DRS and managed to make the move stick and get into the top 3, and that's good. That's really good points if we can finish inside the top 3 there. Tyres squealing down to turn 1, but we managed to get it turned in and keep the position and stay ahead of Hamilton, which is currently leading the championship, so it's very important to keep ahead of him. Now, next person on the list is Sebastian Vettel, the current champion in this game, technically, I suppose. So, yeah, we'll be getting past him, hopefully, down the straight. We know that the Red Bull is good round the corners, but in a straight line, it's not too good. But very late on the brakes, we managed to outdo the Red Bull in the area where I expected it to be fastest, and managed to get past them through the corners, and managed to get past down this long straight. We actually managed to get DRS as well, so a double bonus there. We get past him and get DRS, and he's not in front of us, so that's all good. But if we skip ahead a couple of corners, we somehow have already caught Ricciardo. I think this just shows how fast everyone in this series is going to be, that we can just catch Ricciardo about 3 or so seconds gap and manage to get that close to him. I mean, it's just so amazing how fast everyone in this series is going to be, and it just shows how slow I really am. So yeah, TRL Limitless had amazing pace throughout this whole race, and it was good to see that he could, even with, as I said, that massive deficit and starting at the back of the grid, somehow fight his way all the way near to the front of the grid once again. But we got 4 or so laps to get past Ricciardo here. It should be a pretty easy job to get done, but we all know Ricciardo, he's very good. He's the only person to have beaten the Mercedes in 2014, so we know he's going to be a good person to race against here. But it's kind of strange to see him ahead of Vettel. In all fairness, Vettel seems to be ahead of Ricciardo generally in this game, which is kind of weird. weird considering Ricciardo pretty much dominated Vettel in 2014. So that was weird to see. So now we've got DRS though, and Ricciardo's lack of straight line speed in his Red Bull anyway should make it a pretty easy move. Go to the outside, put it into lean fuel mixture, and make the move stick and go around the outside of there of Ricciardo to take the lead of the race after that crazy start where we started way back and managed to somehow get into the lead of the race on lap number 10, just going on to lap number 11, and we already have a second lead over the rest. But as we go ahead to lap number 14, what's strange to me is that Ricciardo dropped outside the top 4. He just lost pace at the end of the race and dropped outside the top 3, I should say, and that means that Hamilton's in second, who currently leads the championship, and if he finishes there will still lead the championship, and Vettel in third place. So not too sure exactly what happened to Ricciardo there, but it's strange to see, isn't it, that he dropped from second place down to outside the top 3. So we'll see where he finishes at the end of this race. But final corner here to take the first win of the season after a good race in Australia from Ben. It looks like Limitless here is going to go even better to go and win the second race of the season here in Malaysia to take 25 valuable points for Bottas, for the whole team, F1 YouTubers, whatever you want to call us. It's going to be a great season. We've had 2 really good results to start off the season. Hopefully it's only going to get better and better from here, and hopefully we can challenge for the championship. But there we are. There are the race results. You can see we won. Hamilton, Vettel, Rosberg, Ricciardo finished 5th, then Alonso, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Button and Raikkonen in the top 10, and Massa, after 2 stopping, I think, manages to come home in 12th place there, which is strange to see. I'm not too sure why he 2 stopped. I guess it was, we saw on the first lap where he had a half spin or something. Maybe he had contact and accident and damage and all that sort of stuff. So maybe he pitted on that first lap. But if he didn't pit on that first lap, I think honestly he could have been in the top 5. So that's a bit unfortunate for the whole team in general. But there we are. We've won the race, and that's good for us. And that will be really good for the championship. Hopefully it puts us a little bit further up the order. But celebrating on the top step of the podium, well, if there was podiums, on the top step of the car, we should say. Hamilton saying well done, and we say well done back. But let's have a quick look at these standings. I'm sure you guys are wondering what on earth's happening to it. So Hamilton still leads on 43. We're on 33 points in second place now. Then Rosberg, Ricciardo and Vettel is your top 5. Hulkenberg, Massa and Magnussen and Alonso and Perez are at the end of the top 10. And then we look at the Constructors. Mercedes still lead and 73 points, and we have 43 points now. And so do Red Bull, but now as we have the win, we go ahead of them in terms of that. So that's that. And then the Force India and McLaren make up the top 5 in the championship. And if there are any mistakes ever in terms of the standings or anything, guys, leave it in the comment section down below so I can correct it in the future episodes. So yeah, thanks again, I really appreciate it. Remember to go and check out TRL Limitless' channel down in the description of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you guys are enjoying the series. Until next time, it's been AlexZAfRo. Goodbye.